Yes, I'm gonna make it. Yes, it's another video about why Christians should not celebrate Christmas. But wait, hold on, hear me out. Because sometimes you just need to be told in a different kind of way for it to comprehend and for you to understand. Okay, now I know a lot of people are making these videos because it's important. It very much is important because we should not. And yes, and no, it has nothing to do with Jesus. Everybody says, "Oh, but it does have to do with Jesus. It has to do with his birthday." No, it doesn't. His birthday is not on that day. So how then for is it about his birthday when it's not even his birthday? You are celebrating a false god and his birthday, the tree and everything. Oh, but it's like, oh, but if we twist it and make it about and turn Christmas into Christian into about Christ, then it should be okay. No, you can't sugarcoat things. You can't water it down to please yourself because you're only pleasing yourself and not God. And that's why it's very important. I don't care how much you twist it, how much you take a pile of crap and you dip it into something sparkly and good, it's still a pile of crap. No matter what you do to it, a sin is still a sin. Just because you want to change it around, and it's like, oh well, since we don't put all this in that, it no longer belongs to the pagan. Our no, when you're doing voodoo, just because you say Gadu doesn't mean that it's still not voodoo. It's still practicing magic. It's still evil. You can't twist it to your own version, and that's what's wrong with a lot of Christianity religions right now. Is that those pastors and preachers are taking the scriptures and twisting it for their own need to build up their kingdom and not God's. There is nothing about Christmas that has to do with Jesus whatsoever. He wasn't born during that day. All the songs about the jingle bells and all that stuff has nothing to do with Christ. It all has to do with paganism. Oh, but see, here's what's right in front of your face that y'all just love to do. Oh, because it was very obvious about Halloween. Because it's all about evilness. It's already up front about evil. So we're, as Christians, made all kinds of videos. There's tons of videos about that. And people just living up, yep, that's right. We shouldn't do that because that is pure evil. But you want to keep your mouth closed when it comes about Christmas. You can't do it. You can't do that. It's still evil. Let me read this verse to you because, the reason why a lot of people don't want to stand up for the fact that Christmas has nothing to do with Christ is because they don't want to face the wrath of all the people's mouth. They're cowards. You are being a coward for not standing up for the truth because you know that it is true. Oh, but it's just so Christmas. It's so much about Christ. No, it's not whatsoever. Somebody made a post and it couldn't be no more clear. So I'm gonna repeat that because I can't claim it as my own idea or nothing, but it makes a lot of sense. When you have abortion, everybody knows how evil it is. You're killing babies. It's still murder. Just because you change the word abortion and put it into God in front of it, God abortion, doesn't make it right. But that's what you're doing. You're literally taking idolatryism, which you know that God does not like, that you worship another God. And people say, how we don't not worship, but you are. When you're bringing in that, most of you can't even tell your kids that Santa's not even real. Oh, but it's going to hurt their feelings. Well, why? It has nothing to do with Christ. They're idolizing Santa's everywhere. So it's all about this guy named Santa. And just because you attend church the day of Christmas, so-called, and go hear the nativity story and read the Bible verse of where Christ came to be, doesn't make it about Jesus or his birthday. You can hear about that on any given day. You can read that in your Bible on any day. Then that's basically all most people do. That how in the world does that make Christmas now about Christ? Because all of a sudden you want to read the nativity scene that on that particular day. But the whole time you're leaving your kids to worship this tree. Oh, we're not worshiping the tree. It's just sitting there. We're not giving praise to it. You are. You're decorating it. You're putting all this gold and silver around it, which it clearly says in the scriptures about that one God who does that and decorates it with silver and gold. Not only that, but what do? You have your kids leaving. You're making it an altar to a false god. You're putting down milk and cookies. What do you do when you do it at an altar? You sacrifice things. You're sacrificing yourself to buy your time to buy those gifts. You're giving those gifts and you're setting it on the altar. Not only that, but you're leaving food for that false god. You have, it is totally, I don't see how you could not see it. Every bit of that is all pure evil. It is completely wrong. And then one of the main things that God really hates, and he says it throughout the whole entire Bible, Old and New Testaments, is do not worship false gods. And that is the very thing you've done. The devil has been very tricky. Don't blame yourself, because the devil is tricky and he's conniving. And he wanted people to worship him. He wanted to be a god. He has made a way throughout all these generations and years that we have been secretly worshiping him, idolizing him, sacrificing to him. Here's the thing. When we don't stand up and speak what is right, that is a sin. Now I'm going to read from you Revelation chapter 21, verse 8. But the fearful, which is cowards, and the unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all the liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. So that's why people aren't technically in hell right now, because you're going to die, you're holding the spot, you're just dead. But when he goes and put everybody together and casts even the devil down to the lake of fire, then the lake of fire will rise up and everybody will go to hell. That's why it's called the second death, just so you know that part. But look, the lies, the idolatry, and the cowards. You're being a coward when you don't stand up, when you don't speak, because you're allowing these lies to be so true, and you're spreading that lie to your children. The lie was spread to you, and you're continuing it on with your children. I don't care how you sugarcoat it, what you think about it, you shouldn't be doing it. And if you sit there and say that you're a Christian, and you totally believe and you're walking that path of God, then you wouldn't be sitting here, because you don't want to hear the mouth of other people. You don't want to hear the mockery. You don't want to hear them getting onto you, kind of like what they did Jesus before he died on the cross. Didn't want to hear his words. Didn't want to hear his correction. This is a correction. And if you cannot take correction, you are foolish. It says so in the scriptures. You are being foolish to continue on with these lies. You are being a coward because you don't want to stand for what is right. You are being a liar because you continue on with this lie and living in it. You are committing adultery because you're worshiping a false god against your own God, who you claim you believe, who you claim you follow. But yet you're turning around and worshiping this other God. Because in fear of what other people are going to say to you and about you for the things that you're doing. Stand up. If you're going to... A lot of people's like, oh, you know what? I want to be a missionary work. I wouldn't mind going there. Would you cast out your life for God like Peter and all of them did? Because when you drink from the cup of suffering, you're going to suffer. That's why it's called martyrs. There's a lot of Christians who die because they believe what they believe and stand up for what they believe in. Do you have the guts to stand up for your God and do what is right and not celebrate Christmas? Your kids are very much intelligent. They can understand. There's other things to do. You can actually sit there and actually do Jesus' birthday. But it doesn't have to be on this day, because you know that this day, and then everybody's using an excuse, but this is the day that the Lord has made, and every day that he has made has been unto him. That is very true. But that's not what you're doing. And you know that. You're sugarcoating it and you're twisting it, just like the devil has twisted these verses and these things to his advantage to keep you on his path. Oh, man. I encourage you, if you don't believe me, go ahead and go back to read Matthew 7, verses 22 to 23. Those who say, knock on heaven's door and say, Lord, Lord, but I cast demons out in your names, but here you are idolizing the devil. And that's why he's going to say, depart from me, because I do not know you. You're not on my team. You didn't stand up for me. You chose the wrong side. So what side are you going to be on? Are you going to be a coward? Or are you going to stand up